Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are covering Commander staples, or pretty much most board wipes in Commander, with all the colours. Gonna show them all that I could find and some kind of oddball ones. See what you think. You might find some cards here you never thought of that you could use, and a few of them are situational. This video is late, I'm sorry, it's about a day late because my city just went into lockdown. We've been human malware free, will be the word we'll use, because I don't want to get demonetized. We've been free for like 10 months and we just had our first case, so they're just hard locking down. So I'm gonna need this now, I think. Like, we're at this point already.
Let's make a video.
So when we're looking at all the board wipes, look at Wrath the God and Damnation as like your staple. You have 4 mana, you wreck all the creatures, and they can't regen. Regen doesn't really come up too much anymore, not many players run it, but these are like your baseline, optimal cost for the effect you're getting. So keep that in mind when you look at them. So in white has the lion's share of board wipes, of course we know this. Shadow Sky coming in at 4 mana, great commander. Anyone that has a creature with power 4 greater gets to draw a card, then just blow up the board. Great in the multiplayer games. Day of Judgment is pretty much Wrath the God without the regen. Close enough, good enough for most players. False Prophet can be fun-ish. 4 mana, like Wrath the God, but when he dies, you exile the board. Not bad. If you have like maybe a sack outlet on the board straight away, not a bad creature to run. You got the lion here. He has Wrath the God as an actual effect on him, and it doesn't kill him. It's an interesting commander. Not great support, and it does cost a lot of resources. 4 mana plus ditching 2 cards to activate it. But I have seen this commander be incredibly toxic before and just controlling the board. Just mono white taxes, basically. Good luck to you. Then you got Catastrophe. Kind of an old card, but not bad actually. He's 6 mana, a little bit more on the expensive side, but you got options. You can wreck all lands or all creatures, and they don't get to regen. Remember, it's also will destroy your land base, but if you're ahead of your opponent and maybe board presence and creature presence or whatever you're doing, and you really want to just lock it in, maybe go the land option, cut the resources completely out. Off-Through Command has been a long time Commander staple. Modes, and modes. Even if you're trying to kill all the creatures on the board, you are paying 6 mana to kill all creatures under 3 CMC and 4 and above CMC. But at least you can pick Artifact Enchantments as other options. That's what you're paying the extra CMC for. Cleansing Nova, similar idea, a little bit more restrictive. You're only 5 mana though, but it's either all creatures, artifacts, enchantments. Great staples for Commander, and most of the board wipes here are pretty cheap. Route, debatable. It has literal Wrath the God effect. Destroy all creatures, no regen. But it's 5 mana with an extra 2 additional if you want to play instant speed. So if you want to instant speed a Wrath the God, you're paying 7 mana all up. If not, you're paying a 5 mana Wrath the God. Not the best option. Used to see a bit of play though. Dusk, not bad. It destroys all creatures with power 3 or greater at 4 mana. But then you do have the Dawn effect, which could come in handy later on. Then you've also got other cards here that care about toughness and power, a little bit more restrictive. Citywide Bust, cheap at 3 mana, but you have to wreck all creatures with toughness 4 or greater. Toughness is not the better option usually because you want to work with power. You don't care how fat a creature is, you want to know how much it's going to hit your back. Retribution and Meek, same effect but power 4 or greater. That's the way to go. It is on the reserve list, it's a little bit more expensive. But then you got options like Elspeth. She has basically Retribution and Meek built in as a neg 3. She can come in at 6 mana, instantly nuke the board if anything power 4 or greater, kill most of the big threats, and she stays around and then can keep generating your own army after that. Not bad. Fel the Mighty is definitely starting to see a lot more play since Commander 2017. Basically, you can pick one of your little dudes, and anything bigger than him gets nuked into the ground. Hey, it works if you're running like mono white weenies or human decks. That's where it sees play a lot. Slash the Ranks, definitely Commander card, Commander Legends of course. Nuke all creatures and planeswalkers except for commanders. Comes down to who's got the best mono commander basically. Divine Reckoning, really good one, actually underrated. Each player picks a creature, destroy the rest, has flashback, can keep those token decks down multiple times. Fortune of Fuse, kind of more of a wacky one, good fun at the table, wouldn't say it's competitive by any means though. Choose a non-land permanent you don't control, always good when you stretch out of creatures. Each other player chooses a non-land permanent they don't control, and then everything else gets wrecked. If you got a plan where multiple people can stack onto one person to kill an opponent, you could negotiate it. Chroma's Vengeance just does it all. Wreck all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. The new Doom Scar is actually not bad. It has Vortel, so you can kind of hide it away, give a little bit of a sneak attack, but at its worst, 5 mana wreck all creatures, not the worst thing. End Hostilities, great option. 5 mana, wreck all the creatures and everything attached to them. I would pay the extra 1 mana for that. And Fate's Retribution, Not my favourite. You're up to 7 mana to kill all planeswalkers and creatures. Not bad, but you do get Scry if it's your turn. Arrow of Reckoning is just for the weenie guys. If you're pure hardcore Selesnya token deck and you're actually running the Convoke mechanic and stuff like that, great. You can use Convoke to keep it down, possibly get it for free. It destroys all non-creatures. Great for your deck. Then you got Arrow of Revelation. If you're in a big multi-way game, if there's 10 or more non-land permanents on the battlefield, it costs 3 less, so it's only a triple white board wipe, and it wrecks all non-land permanents, hitting everything. Easy in a 4-player game. That's like turn 3-4, no problem. Planar Cleansing, very much the same effect, just all non-land permanents. Can't complain, but no reduction built in. So obviously, of course, Arrow of Revelation is just a pure upgrade. Planar Outburst, if you're running those very few people that do run lands matter decks, but you can pay the awakening cost, animate a land, and then nuke the board. Not a bad option. You can free up at least an attack. Then you got Undo Inversion, very expensive 8 mana, just to wreck everything, but you can pick to be a land instead. A little bit of versatility. Fumigate, been seeing play for a long time, especially in those life gain decks. Just nuke the board, gain life each creature you killed. Mass Calcify, great for mono white, destroy all the non-whites on the board. And then Martial Coup, if X is 5 or more, you still get to nuke the board, but you get 5 little weenies after it. Does see a lot of play in the token decks as well. Soul Scour, 10 mana, is expensive. Most decks aren't going to touch it, but I'm going to say I got Soul Scour once. It was the most disheartening thing I've ever felt. Entire board on the enemy side, untouched. Just everything I had was gone. Because, no, all non-artifact permanents. That's your lands too. It is disheartening. Then you got Scour Glass here. Similar effect, doesn't hit lands, so you destroy all non-artifact and lands on the board, but you could keep returning from the graveyard with any artifact reanimated playstyle. Then you got Sun Scour, has the option to be played for free by removing 2 white cards from your hand, destroy all creatures. Not a bad option, but you do need a hand, which in mono white can be harder to pull off. Solar Tide, not a fan, bad board wipe, wouldn't run it myself. For 6 mana, you're picking 1, to kill all creatures with power 2 or less, or creatures power 3 or greater. If you want to have both options and kill everything, you're going to pay 6 mana and sack 2 lands. No thank you, I'm not touching that. Ravenrock at War, cheaper, it is exile removal, but it only hits multicolor permanents. It's pretty much just Todd from Fallout, just ram the shotgun, just this works. Not the great option. Righteous Fury, 6 mana, can only hit tapped creatures, but you do gain life. Again, Fumigate, just a better option, won't touch it. Then you got Sublime Exaltation here, 7 mana, Undaunted, becomes cheaper with the number of players you got. The problem with this card is, if you're in a 4-player game, that's 3 opponents. Reducing it by 3 makes it 4 mana. Run Wrath of God. Retaliate is just bad, the creatures have to hit you before they can get killed by the board wipe at 4 mana. You might be dead from that. Winds of Wrath, actually a very good option, especially in the enchantment builds. Any creature that isn't enchanted, nuke it into the ground, can't regen. A lot of those like heavy Voltron style decks keep their board presence untouched and everything else dies. Urza's Blast is interesting. You're 5 mana, you exile removal, and it's all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. But you must have a legendary in play to do it. Then you got Descend Upon the Sinful and Final Judgment. Very similar effects, except Descend is just an upgrade. 6 mana, exile removal, that's all they are. But with Descend, you can get an Angel Token thanks to Delirium, which can come in handy. Alright, so these are the kind of more unique, weird ones to look at in white. Play the game, seeing a lot of play in your more political games, because it has assist, other players can help pay the cost. It's exile non-land permanents. Great for getting a player that's well ahead of everyone or they've got a combo going off they can't deal with. Planar Collapse, it's an enchantment at 2 mana. Great for decks that don't care about creatures. Maybe you're sitting in the back, turtling up, spell slinging, combo playing, you don't actually use creatures in your game plan. Could work for you, because beginning of your upkeep, there's 3 or more creatures in play, you sack this, you destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. 2 mana, it's like a future board wipe that you don't care when it goes off, it's just a investment. Then you got Hallowed Burial and good old Terminus, basically putting the creatures back into the libraries to deal with at a later date. In some cases, better in the graveyard because you can't get them reanimated. March of Souls works great for you token play, especially in like white-black Orzhov token sacky decks. Wreck everything on the board, no regen. For each creature destroyed this way, its controller gets a 1/1 spirit token with flying. Could be good ETB effects and more sack fodder for you. Harsh Mercy, kind of a weird thing, gets worse as there's more creature types on the board and less people help you with the picking. You're 3 mana, each player chooses a creature type, wreck anything that wasn't picked. The problem is, of course, more players, they can name more types, more likely things will live on the board, and less people help you, and you maybe 2 people say Dragon instead of Dragon Knight or something like that. Angel of the Dire Hour, 4th time trying to say that, and Sunblast Angel have very similar effects. Enter the battlefield, you reckon all the creatures. The Dire Hour, saying it slowly, has flash, kills all the creatures, exile. Sweet. Sunblast just can enter whenever, it's destroy tap creatures. If you can give it flash, even better. So as you can see, we're in a bit of a theme of creature removal. Awakening Sun's avatar is destroy all dinosaurs on entry if you cast it from your hand. Amazing thing for your tribal support. If you're in dinosaurs, you're playing it, no questions asked. Similar with the Realm Cloak Giant, its adventure is destroy all non-giants. Red-white giants can be actually kind of viable. People scoff at them, but they do work. Good board wipe for you. The Mojang of the Cleansing Fire. These guys are great because you can just sit them on the board. They're indestructible as long as you've got the divinity counter on them. Remove the counter to destroy each other creature, and it still stays in play. Good way just to sandbank a board wipe if you want to, and your opponents can see it there. Magus a disc, not a bad option. 5 mana to just wreck everything, but on the second turn it's out, of course. Regen, not a bad option.
Where shall my blood be spilled?
And we're into black. Gotta say, a couple less than white, but a lot better quality. So just straight into it. Decree of Pain. Nuke all the creatures. Get to draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. Or if you want to cycle it, a little bit cheaper, 5 mana. -2/-2 the board. Scalable. Kindred Dominance. Choose a creature type. Wreck everything that isn't that type. If you're in a mono, or if you're in any black tribal deck, run it. Garruk's Wake, expensive at 9 mana, but you destroy all creatures and planeswalkers that aren't yours. Just free up the board, punch in, but yeah, 9 mana is kind of up there. Life's Finale, one I personally love running. 6 mana, wreck the board, but then you go digging through the library, pick 3 creatures, and then put it into the graveyard. Pick things they want to use to win, or things you might want to reanimate later on. Crux of Fate, actually not a bad option. 5 mana, you get to pick destroy all non-dragons or all dragons. Maybe in a Nicobolus deck or any of the dragon decks. Works great. Keeps your commander out and just frees up the board. The brand new Blood on the Snow can be a good option too. If you're a full snow-based deck, the fact you can choose to wreck all creatures or planeswalkers at 6 mana, and then if you've paid all your mana with snow, you can resurrect anything of 6 mana. That's a creature or planeswalker. That's pretty good. Then you got Deadly Tempest with a bit of life damage attached on there. 6 mana, you wreck the board. Each player loses life equal number of creatures they lost. Great against those token players. Could possibly kill some of them outright. Extinguish All Hope, 6 mana to wreck all non-enchantment creatures. If you're a full-on enchantment build, again, it's a one-sided board wipe if you've built your deck correctly. Now here's a couple of more greedy board wipes. Bontu's Last Reckoning. I'm not a big fan of it. You lose an untapped step for a 1 mana cheaper board wipe, undercurve of course. I don't like it. Losing an untapped step, you miss a whole turn. Force of Despair I do like playing with, plus I work with Seth McKinnon, he knows me best. It's cheap, can be single target removal if you want to, or you can use it at the right time to kill a lot of creatures in the battlefield in the 1 turn. Plus you can play it for free by exiling a black card from your hand. I'm all about it. Plague Wind, kinda like Garruk's Wake, 9 mana, expensive, but wreck anything that's not yours and they can't be regenerated. Overwhelming Force is pretty much Decree of Pain, but from Portal Through Kingdoms. Love that set. Long-time viewers of the channel know I reckon it's a really underrated set in terms of its value. Watch that set in a few years. We'll look at Revised now, just going up in price. That set is underappreciated. Phyrexian Scriptures is a board wipe on turn 2 after it's come out, but it protects your commander. It's actually very powerful, and some commanders even do better with it. For example, the Blight Dragon. You're infecting 4/4, now it's a 5/5, so it becomes a 2-hit kill, and you just nuke the board, so the dragon's free to attack. Some commanders, very powerful in black. Ritual Suit and Consume the Meek, not a fan. Each of them wrecks creatures with power 3 or less. They're expensive, they're not very good, just not my thing. Necromantic Selection, board wipe plus res, 7 mana. Expensive, but if you're already doing a whole res build, it's a good option. Especially if you resurrect something spicy. Alright, these are the more neg board wipes. Black Sun, hey, it works, goes back into your deck, and it leaves encounters on the board just to linger and punish your opponent. Toxic Deluge, it does see a bit of play outside of Commander into the more vintage formats, but you gotta pay life. 3 mana, pay X life, nuke the creatures by X. Very good board wipe early on, can help against those really aggressive elf dickheads. Mutilate, 4 mana, nukes the board based on the number of swamps you control. Just like Languish, which I know I forgot here, but in a mono black deck, turn 4, that's neg 4 to the board pretty much. Shadow's Verdict, kind of a weird thing. New Zendikar set, your 5 mana, it is exile, not destroy, but only hits creatures and planeswalkers CMC 3 or less from the graveyard and the board. I don't like it. You're only hitting the little things that aren't a big threat in Commander. Maybe in Standard, different story. Commander, don't think so. Okay, onto the actual creatures of black. You got the Golgan here. Don't like it, because you're going to pay 6 mana to get her out. Then you can pay 8 mana to Monstrous it to destroy non-Golgans. Too much, not touching it. Alright, we've got 3 creatures here doing similar effects. You've got 2 demons and a dragon. End of the battlefield, nuke the board if you cast them from your hand. If it's on your higher end of your curve, not bad, because it's freeing up the board if you're behind, whatever. Plus it takes 2 slots into 1, so if you're playing your deck out, the not worst option. I do like the Kako Demon a bit more, because it's creatures we don't control, plus you tap down yours so you get to keep your board presence. Here's the really bad stuff of the black board wipes. Forced March is X triple black to destroy a creature with X CMC or less. To make it the same as a Damnation, you can only hit creatures with CMC 1. Ugh, it's not a good one. Endemic Plague, you have to sack a creature type, or a creature, and any creature that shares that type gets killed. Unless you're in the same tribe as your opponent, not good. The Decree, not as worse, but still not great. Choose a creature type. Target opponent reveals his or her hand, discards all those creatures, then you destroy all those creatures. It is a one-side tribal board wipe, but you're at 6 mana. And then Extinction, destroy creatures of any type of your choice. Similar effect. Very hate on the tribe, but unless that's really strong tribal, you're not going to get much of an effect. Spreading Plague can be good if you're kind of, again, sitting in the back, you don't care about creatures, just spell slinging, you're trying to pull off a combo, maybe Demir Grix's combo build. Your 5 mana enchantment, whenever a creature comes into play, destroy all other creatures that share a type with it. Can't be regen. Great in 4-player game, you just sit there back and walling up, and they just play the creatures, killing each other. Hellfire, love the artwork, possibly my most favourite black card. I love how heretical that artwork is. That shit would not fly in the 90s. Not a good board wipe. You have 5 mana to kill all the non-black creatures, and then you take the damage for it. Ugh. Do or Die is a fun one. It's similar to Fact or Fiction. You pick an opponent, they're putting their creatures in 2 piles, they're picking one, binning it, keeping the others.
Take no prisoners, comrades.
Okay, we're on to the red board wipes now. Red board wipes are a lot fewer, but they feel more meaty, like they clap hard, and the wording, like look here. Remove all permanents from the game, discard your hand, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and lands, no regen, can't be countered. Same effect again, with cycling, and if you cycle it, you destroy all the lands. You can just destroy all creatures and lands. These ones feel far more meaty, but yes, red board wipes can be far more expensive. Now, don't know how you pronounce it. I've always read it as like Jackal Hups, or Hoops. See it all the time, but 6 mana board wipe to hit all creatures, artifacts, and lands? Just mess up the game mid-game. The Act, great option, has a reduction built in, you're never paying 9 mana. Most cases you're paying about 4 or 5 mana for the thing, just hits every creature for 13. Hour of Devastation, great with all the god players out there, because those dickheads with indestructible commanders, yeah, not having it. Remove indestructible, 5 damage to anything that's not a bolus planeswalker or creature, loving it. And then Puppet's Verdict, gone up in price because of all the coin flipping lately. If you win the flip, you destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater at 3 mana. That's not a bad option. Now here's kind of the poo of mono red. Breaking Point. Yeah, it's 3 mana, potential board wipe, but anyone can take 6 damage just to prevent the effect. 6 life out of 40? Yeah, probably going to pay that all day long. Mog Infestation, great in the Goblin decks, not going to lie, very spicy. You pick one player, you wreck all their shit, and for each shit they lost, they get 2 more little shits called Goblins. Great. And then, I guess Desolation Giant's not the worst if you only ever play with the kicker. That way you're getting a 6 mana 3/3 Giant that kills everything else on entry. That's not bad again if you're in the Giant tribal effect. Bearer of the Heavens, he's poo, very poo. 8 mana, 10/10, he has to die to destroy all the other permanents at the next end step. They still get the turn to kill you. No.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Onto the blue board wipes. God, we're going through most of them at this point. Blue board wipes are always bouncing things back to your opponent's hand. Good old D-Tide, all non-lands, back to the hand, has a miracle cost for 2. Cyclonic Rift, like it needs an introduction. The most infamous blue card really in Commander at this point. What, this is like nearly $40 at one point. Oh, you got Inundate, 6 mana, just bounce all non-blues back to the owner's hands. Not bad, it's nearly one-sided in a mono blue build. Then you got Engulfing Shore and Evacuation. The Shore cares about how many islands you got to bounce back those weaker creatures, and Evacuation just puts all creatures back to your owner's hands. But you've also got a bit of an aquatic, fishy theme here. Whelming Wave will bounce back anything that's not a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus or Serpents, so nothing in the ocean. But then for those said creature types, you got Scourge of the Fleet, you got the Leviathan, and Crushing Tentacles, care about bouncing things back, and those aquatic creature types. And on to green. Suck it, nerd. You get nothing.
This is brilliant, but I like this.
On to Colorless and others. Colorless does alright actually. You got all this dust, big old puncher in Modern back in the day. Not bad if you're in a Colorless build. Ugin just comes in, can neg X colored permanents, no problem. The disc, very infamous, especially if you give it Indestructible with Darksteel Forge and just keep wrecking the board. Good luck to your opponents. The portal, more people should play with it. Basically you're going to vote draw or board wipe. Most of the time people are going to vote draw. Hey, you get to draw a new card. Don't complain. But eventually if the board does vote destroy, it's a 4-mana destroy effect. Hey, I'm not going to complain, and it's non-land permanents too. Boom Pile, similar effect as the disc. If you give Indestructible, it works really well because it doesn't actually sacrifice itself in any way, and it's all about that coin flipping. So there's some maybe ready builds that can run it. The Vault, not a fan. In 9 mana, if you want to activate it in 1 turn, too expensive. Oblivion Stone, again, not a fan. If you're trying to activate it in 1 turn, you're 8 mana. Stick it in Modern, in Tron, and leave it there. And the Plague Bowler, it's about balancing the counters on it before it ruptures and explodes. Not a fan, too much management, too much mana sink, not worth the effort. Into the Multicolor. Child of Lara doing very well in Commander now because of the rule change, where being a commander it can still die, go to the graveyard, then to the command zone, therefore gets to blow up the board constantly. Child of Lara decks have come back a little bit. They're a bit of an old school playstyle, great spicy build though. Then you got Kai's Wrath, 4 mana, wreck the board, gain some life, white black, fits well. Supreme Verdict, very strong in Mon, strong in Commander, 4 mana in 2 colors, can't be countered, wreck the board. Most times a very clutch spell. Time Wipe lets you bounce a creature back out of there and then wreck the board, so you can replay that creature later on. That's a pretty good option. You got the good old Eviction. I love options, and it's Exile too. You got the Ultimatum here, which is all non-land permanents from Ikoria. Very good in the Mardu Knight builds for sure. Then you got the Magister Worth. Depends on your play group, you're going to pretty much vote res or destroy the board. If you vote res, everyone gets to play a creature again from the graveyard. If not, you're blowing that shit up. Okay, that's it. Probably one of the longer videos for the channel. There's a lot of board wipes in Commander. Hopefully today you found a few that you could use that you didn't think of. Most of the board wipes that people don't think of are more niche. They have to be in a certain tribe or a certain playstyle to work, but there are a few out there that are definitely underrated. So let me know down below what you are going to try using that you didn't know of, or if I've missed anything that was worth mentioning. There were a couple real duds, like turds I've left out that no one's going to play with. But yes, let me know your thoughts guys, and have a good one. Thank you, goodbye. Thanks for watching the video guys. If you enjoyed it, give the video a like. I'm going to keep it short. Like and sub helps us out a lot. To my patrons, I can't thank you guys enough. I hope you're doing well out there. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I've just gone on to lockdown now, so yay for me too, hey? Have a good one guys.